When you take your family out to eat, what are you actually eating? Well, hidden from our eyes, microscopic germs lurking all around the restaurant.
So we sent Fox 25's Jordann Lucero to get a better look. She took a swab to the things you get your hands on before you get your hands on your food. It's only on Fox.
We randomly selected 5 restaurants across the metro, fast food, fast casual, some sit-downs from Norman to Edmond. Which ones are not important? We're not naming them because they could be anywhere. We just wanted to take a general look at the things you come in contact with every time you eat at a restaurant. And the verdict is in. It may make you want to rethink how you dine. How many germs can fit on a Q-tip? You give them some nutrients to munch on and let them incubate, and you can see how many that swab picked up. Each one of these colonies representing a single cell we found. Where'd they come from? The things you probably touch every time you walk into a restaurant. We took a swab to menus, booths, high chairs, trays, salt and pepper shakers, and soda fountains. We took the swabs to nutrient plates, each designed to test for certain contaminants.
The reason that these specific plates are good is that they are going to grow possible pathogens, things that could make you sick. So you're not getting just a wide spread of everything. You're really trying to focus on those things that are possibly contagious, possibly going to cause someone to be very ill.
After just a few days, you can see what's grown. Just looking at it, it doesn't look appetizing. We gave it some more time, then took these plates in for a scientific review. Dr. Amy Hurst is a life science professor at Rose State College.
This is shrimp.
She deals with this stuff all the time, but even she was surprised by our finds.
For the most part, especially the plates that are for fecal contamination, it was quite shocking.
So after all those tests, how did all of the items stack up?
Salt and pepper shakers were good, the menus weren't too bad, everything else was very interesting.
Our tests found E. coli, salmonella, strep, and staph.
There's a lot of fecal contaminant on the booths and the high chairs. Those were the 2 most startling locations.
The booths at the 3 restaurants we tested were gross. The dark side of these plates test for fecal contamination. Each booth had E. coli, 2 had coliform bacteria, 2 had Staphylococcus aureus, which could be linked to a MRSA infection. On the high chairs, 2 had both E. coli and coliform. One of those also had salmonella. Each had the potentially dangerous staph. And this plate shows a bacillus colony that could cause food poisoning. That doesn't mean sitting in these booths or high chairs would get you sick.
But it could. And as soon as you have that chance in there, it's somewhat concerning.
As for everything else, fast food trays were filled with germs, fecal contaminants, staph on one, strep on the other. This table tent where this restaurant displays its specials had all of those too. And one menu did have a small amount of E. coli.
And soda fountains. Not bad. Not bad.
Dr. Hurst says this is an eye-opener that you should be aware of your surroundings.
Don't have that security that just because you're doing everything right and washing your hands, that doesn't mean that the place where you're eating or the people that were there before you have done that.
Any other, I guess, takeaways from this?
Eat at home.
And Dr. Hurst guesses the booths and trays may have been infected because they could have been getting wiped down with the same rag over and over. Those breed germs and transfer them easily if they're not passed through bleach after each use.
No, I'm just kidding about that. So what can we do to, protect ourselves?
Well, you could try washing your hands. The problem is you wash your hands, then you go back out and touch everything, and you're just recolonizing yourself with those germs. So if you really want to, you can take Clorox wipes and just disinfect yourself. There you go.
All right.
Germs lurking everywhere you go, and they are hitching a ride on your shoes.
Yeah, tonight we're revealing the disgusting test results. Fox 25's Jordann Lucero is our germ expert. She's here with our findings tonight.
You're right. Disgusting findings. You might guess it. Shoes are really gross, but you might not realize all they can pick up, and it was shocking to see just how easily they carry things that could harm you. Your shoes go everywhere with you.
I'm walking around down here and going to the bathrooms and stuff like that at school.
For each step you're taking, something is tagging along. You can't see them, but they're there, tons of them. And once these germs have hitched a ride, you're taking them with you everywhere you go. You may not think about it, but we can assure you this is one place where they are. The teachers at Child Care Network cover up when they walk into the infant room. The rule applies to every visitor.
So we make sure that everybody puts on shoe covers or either takes their shoes off before they enter into this classroom.
Child Care Network takes babies as young as 6 weeks. They spend their time in this room until they're 10 months.
And most of their time is spent on the floor in the class. And their immune systems are not as strong as everybody else's. We try to make sure that the infants can crawl around without anybody's, extra germs from their shoes.
So what did the shoe covers save the babies from? We took a sample from Dana Irby's pink shoes and another from a visitor. But these are just 2 pair in a sea of shoes. What else are people picking up?
I've been to Denver, Colorado in these bad boys. I've been to Austin, Texas.
Sarah offered her sandals to our experiment. So did Jenna.
I do have a really dirty backyard, but they're not as dirty as they could be.
And Jason, Kaylee, and Brad put their feet up for us too.
I anticipate them having dirt on them, but other than that, I really don't know.
And it's only really when they get dirty on the top. I don't really worry about the bottom.
Ew. I go out to the farm in these shoes and everything.
After collecting their samples, we let the germ hitchhikers grow for days until they're something you can see.
This is something that most people don't think about every day, but there's a lot of pathogens on shoes, things that can make you sick.
Dr. Amy Hurst at Rose State College goes over our results.
I think that there is a lot of plates to show that shoes are gross in general.
Across the board, all of our volunteers had some gross stuff on their shoes. Several possible pathogens. Drawing your attention to the darkest plates. These are all intestinal microbes, meaning some people were walking around with things picked up from things that should be flushed down. The lighter side of the plates test for respiratory germs, and the red plates test for skin contaminants.
There's stuff out there, that's not a problem, but we selected these plates because they grow pathogens. And so what's grown on here has the possibility of being pathogenic. And if you're bringing that in, especially if you've got young children or anyone who's immune compromised who could easily become sick, that's worrisome.
Back to Child Care Network.
Hey, I'm a star.
What did those shoe covers save those babies from?
That's a good thing for a daycare to either have a shoe removal policy or a booty policy.
Dr. Hurst says the skin contaminant plates were the most concerning. Both have spots that look to be from potentially dangerous staph, Staphylococcus aureus, which could be linked to MRSA infections. The other plates have red colonies that are intestinal bacteria, which Hurst says could be problematic.
Wearing shoes is good when you're outside, otherwise all of this would just be on your feet. So it's good when you're outside, but shoes inside usually might actually be transmitting more stuff around than we expect.
You can wash your hands, but nobody washes their shoes.
So now you're probably thinking about cleaning your shoes, and that's possible. We tested out 5 different cleaning methods, the most effective way to wash the germs away, tonight on the Late Edition. I'm Jordann Lucero, Fox 25 News.
At 9, we showed you how everything from staph to E. coli tags along on the soles of your shoes. If you missed it, you can watch that experiment on OKCFox.com. But now, Fox 25's Jordann Lucero shows us it's not hopeless. You don't have to throw out a pair to get rid of the germs. Jordann?
Wendy, after collecting all of those dirty shoe samples, we decided to try to clean up. We tested out 5 different cleaning methods to figure out which works best. Shoes protect feet in more than one way. Wearing them will shield your feet from thousands of microbes you step in. That proof is on these plates. But if you're not cleaning your soles off, that protection does you no good. Dr. Amy Hurst teaches life sciences at Rose State.
I think we think about washing our hands and washing our clothes and taking a shower, but we just overlook our shoes.
It's only really when they get dirty on the top. I don't really worry about the bottoms.
But the bottoms pick up a lot. We tested them. These dark purple spots from one pair, likely E. coli. These spots, all likely dangerous types of staph. The plate so packed with colonies, it turned yellow from the red it's supposed to be.
If that's in your throat and it's breaking open red blood cells, it's generally a bad thing.
So, how best to protect yourself from getting sick? We tried 5 methods and took samples before and after. Disinfecting wipes, they seem to just push germs around. Baby wipes, they did an okay job getting rid of some respiratory germs and some skin contaminants, but not doing a lot for intestinal stuff. A paper towel, not the best method, but better than nothing. We were able to throw out some germs. Doormats may be misleading.
Actually wiping your feet on a doormat made it worse. There was actually a lot more on the plates that had the post-wiping experience.
The best method we found, a can of Lysol. From the before to the after that's nearly clear.
Lysol, though, worked really good, and so just something to spray your shoes down is probably a good idea.
All right, so one thing we didn't test, but Dr. Hurst thinks could have worked just as well, is just a rinse with water. May have the same effect. I wore a new pair of shoes for 1 week and checked them over the days. The shoes' germ factor peaked at day 3. Dr. Hurst's theory, the next days of walking after rainstorms may have cleaned them up a bit. You can see those results and check out where my shoes traveled at okcfox.com. I'm Jordann Lucero, Fox 25 News.
And maybe you're thinking we wear shoes all the time and never get sick. Well, you may want to keep in mind tracking in those types of viruses and bacteria would be more dangerous to small children and others with weaker immune systems.
Tonight, you know all those chores that you do in the kitchen? Well, you might as well stop doing them because you're probably doing them wrong.
Those towels and sponges and brushes you're using to clean are probably just making your place a lot more dirty and even full of bacteria. Fox 25's Jordann Lucero found out there are a lot of germs to spread if you're not careful. Jordann.
Hey guys, from our Fox 25 break room here. Now we have all these things you can get the job done for when we bring our lunch. We have sponges, we have brushes here, some paper towels, just like you would at home. Well, we put all of these kinds of things to the test and we realized they're not really getting the job done like you think. They don't last long. Cookies in the newsroom fly off the plate, going a lot easier than what it took to bring them in. In the kitchen, you need the bowls, you need the mix, the ingredients, the mixing, the molding, the baking, all that work, leaving a load more for you to do. I use towels to get the job done, washing the dishes. But they also wipe down the measuring cups, dry my hands, clean the counters. And what do they pick up or spread around while I do all of that? And in other kitchens, we tested those too. The kitchen towels, the sponge, and we looked at how well the sponge actually did its job. And it turned out it didn't.
I would say pretty conclusively that sponges, kitchen sponges for cleaning are a one-use item.
That sponge turned up large colonies of what looked to be E. coli, and our attempt to disinfect the thing with a long soak in a bleach bath didn't help.
But even just a soaking doesn't really get deep enough to disturb and disrupt and get rid of all of the bacteria.
Another sponge, this one in the Fox 25 break room, was just as gross, almost exactly as gross.
It's pretty interesting that with the sponges, no matter where they were from, whether it was a kitchen or a break room, pretty much the same set of stuff. E. coli's predominantly were growing there.
And that sponge, we used it to wipe off the perfectly clean counter. And it wasn't clean anymore after that. The E. coli and other germs were transferred over. And when it came to the kitchen brushes, we have 2. Not surprising, the grosser looking one came back with grosser looking tests. Altogether, brushes, sponges, and towels came back with spots or 2 that could be concerning.
There's some funguses on here as well, but also some Staphylococcus aureus. Not universally bad, but Those are more prone to becoming antibiotic resistant and causing wound festering.
There were a few tests that came back with spots that looked like salmonella.
The towels were in general a lot better. They're not the same dense material with all those pores in there. Plus, at least a towel you can take after one use, throw it in the washing machine.
The biggest takeaway, sponges pick up and keep germs easily, and they are not reusable.
Do not invest a lot of money in a $4 or $5 kitchen sponge because it doesn't make any difference. It just needs to be thrown away.
Yeah, so sorry coworkers, I'm taking this and I am throwing it out. So our best bet here, since we don't have towels on hand or a washing machine to kind of take care of these things, our best bet, stick with the paper towels. Reporting live tonight, Jordann Lucero, Fox 25 News.
We're all a little embarrassed that we showed you our...
I feel like it's a little too intimate there. Okay. Many of the things we found in those tests, like the E. coli or staph, were already living on most of us, and our systems are pretty good at defending against the other things like salmonella.
But the biggest concern, if you have young kids or someone at home who is immune compromised, these things can certainly hit them hard and be very, very serious.